guys, welcome back to our channel. Just answering one question that was posted. I think a lot of people are kind of feels this might be something that they're always thinking about in the back of their head. So the question is when it becomes fraud to not disclose issue with the property for sale. Good question. I mean, fraud is a very strong word. So unlike single family home and commercial real estate is slightly different. Single family home, because it's so governed by a lot of legislation and regulations, that there's a lot of disclosure paperwork. Now, if you know something that you have to disclose. As an example, if someone passed away in that home within the first 3 years of the passing, you have to disclose that. It doesn't matter if it's a natural death or whatnot, you have to disclose all those information. For commercial real estate, it's different because commercial real estate is usually sold as is, where it is. And unlike single family homes, sometimes you have a long due diligence process. A lot of people follow inspection period, feasibility, or due diligence. So you as a seller is allowing the buyer, the prospect buyer, to conduct their diligence. So if they're asking certain things that sure, you can disclose that because it's gonna be known when they look at the property in physical inspection. But there are certain things. As an example, I'm going to use a commercial real estate retail asset. As an example, I mean, they said you have an environmental report. Do you know if there was a hazardous material or store before? You may not know that. So you can just say, I don't know. However, you have a due diligence period, so you should be conducting that yourself. Most of the time when they're asking for that is usually when there used to be an underground UBT, underground gasoline stations, or they store petroleum, or dry cleanings. Old school dry cleaning use a lot of chemicals to wash their clothes. That's what it's called, dry cleaning. It's not wet. They use chemicals to clean it. So those things goes into your water lines or contaminates the soil. So then you most likely you will have some form of issues, but it's on the buyers to do that, to do the phase 1 or phase 2 with your consent. So I think unless you're really being fraudulent where you are really hiding things, but if it's like information that should be conducted during due diligence, it's really not going to be fraud. Fraud will be you don't own the building, you don't have title to it, but you're trying to sell it. That's fraud. And you can be sued for that, have criminal cases against it. But if you generally do not know, as an example, if it's like, hey, when was this property built? I don't know. I think it's in the 70s. But they should be able to do their due diligence with the city and say, oh, this property was built in 1959. Right? Those are all information will come up during discovery and diligence period. So I think commercial real estate conduct transaction, I think you have to have a proper documentation and contract that stipulates to the prospect buyer that they have the diligence period and they should conduct their due diligence properly so that they can make the proper decision. Because as you know, in real estate transaction, you have the due diligence period, and if you pass on the deal, the deposit gets refunded back to the buyer and they walk away. So therefore, you're just stipulating that it's as is, where is condition. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you're trying to cover something up, it's going to show. And there is a reps and warranty period where it outlives the contract time. And if they find something that's egregiously wrong or fraud, they can always come back and make that case and sue you, So you do want to disclose proper information, but you as a seller may not have all the information. So the diligence period is very important. If you found this content helpful, please follow, like, and add comments. Thank you.